Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we have a little bit of a retro Black Library review. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about one of the novels and doing a review of one of the many Black Library novels I've read in ages past that I really enjoyed. This is sort of going to be, I guess, my look back at something and really remembering the story and talking about it. And in today's story, we're going to talk about a Space Marine battle novel called The Death of Integrity by Guy Hayley. This was one of my favourite of the Space Marine battle novels. In fact, I think most of the Space Marine battle novels will definitely rank in like some of my favourite stories I've read about 40k over the course of time. And this one was particularly interesting to me because it featured Blood Drinkers, a chapter that I was very passionate about. Now, a big thing for me in my introduction was 40k was actually picking up a Deathwatch RPG game at a local game store. And we picked this up and we played through the campaigns of that, and in one of the supplements for that, you could be a Blood Drinker, and Blood Drinker was the character I went with. They're a really interesting Space Marine chapter to sort of write about because they have this sort of way of dealing with the flaw that no other Blood Angel successor does, and the way the Blood Drinkers rather get through the floor or try to, I guess, suppress it is actually giving in to the blood drinking and the vampiric sort of nature that the flaw of the Blood Angels is. Now, of course, this story being an older one, this is way before the Maledictum and all that. The Primaris Marines aren't a thing yet, so it is a Firstborn Marine story way back in, actually set before the 41st millennium, set quite a while before that, because we know that the current chapter master is Orlok, and this story focuses around a Space Marine chapter master of the Blood Drinkers called Cadus. Cadus is the current chapter master, and he's sort of having a hard time with the curse of the Blood Angels and the successors. And his problem is, well, he's starting to fall. And he can feel the oncome, and it's this sort of story that he wants to make this one last sort of, I guess, contribution to the Imperium, and that him and his Blood Drinkers aboard his strike cruiser have been chasing down this Gene Stealer cult, and they've effectively tracked it to a Space Hulk known as the Death of Integrity. There's where our name of our story comes from. However, upon wanting to destroy this, they soon find that the Noble Marines and Adeptus Mechanicus are working together to actually try and harness the power, potentially, of this Space Hulk. And it's that sort of balance now that the Blood Drinkers can't just be this, I guess, ferocious assault force and go all willy-nilly and destroy it, because they have these other forces of the Imperium that actually want to use it for the better of the Imperium. And now the Blood Drinkers sort of need to, I guess, rein themselves in, but they don't really trust these other forces of the Imperium. And so you have generally these more conflicts, or I guess conversations between mostly the Blood Drinkers and the Noble Marines. They seem to be much more, I guess, closer than the Adeptus Mechanicus, who seem like this outside sort of faction with something you're not quite sure all throughout the story what their actual aim is with the Space Hulk. The Noble Marines are just helping them, and then obviously the Blood Drinkers now coming in, and the sort of going, well, there's Gene Stealers on there, and this all sort of becomes a big fight of the Gene Stealer cults and sort of everything dealing with the Space Hulk. And there actually ends up being some quite valuable things on the Space Hulk, as you'll find when you do read the story, because you can go still pick up the story as an ebook fashion from Black Library. I'll leave a link in the description of the video to go pick this up. It is a well worth story to pick up. I thoroughly enjoyed it when I read it, and I've been rereading bits of it and stuff like that, and I really enjoyed it. But that's sort of our main part of the story. This book really does show you that sort of relationship between two Space Marine chapters who are so vastly different, and especially someone who, as a Space Marine chapter like the Blood Drinkers, who have a very big secret they don't want to, I guess, show the world. They don't want the Noble Marines to know how they managed to cure the flaw. They don't want people to see the flaw. Like most Blood Angels, they don't want the flaw to be known about as something that is commonplace, especially how the Blood Drinkers deal with it. Now, there is an interesting part of the story, as the Blood Drinkers have a really interesting part of when they start to fall to the Black Rage. They see their own version of something to do with the Black Rage. They do not have a Black Rage like the rest of the Blood Angels do, where they're sort of reliving Sanguinius' final moments in Horus's death. You'll find out all about that and that different sort of story as you read through the book. It's really interesting and really captivating on how the Blood Drinkers have managed to, I guess, avoid such high numbers as other chapters of Blood Angel successors like the Angels in Carmine and stuff like that actually have. And like this book, it does play really well on that sort of aggressive Space Marine chapter, like the Blood Drinkers sort of, I guess, being reined in and having to rein themselves in as well against the Nova Marines, which are, you know, an Ultramarine successor, so much more pragmatic, much more disciplined and studious in how the battle is going to take, and think more about the wider Imperium rather than just this vengeance that Cadus is seeking in his last moments of sanity. In summary, though, like, this was a really enjoyable story. I loved it. Mainly, for me, I like the Blood Drinkers part of it. Mostly, I mean, that's where my passion for this story and really where I grew to enjoy it came from. It was really, really fun that they were given such a good spotlight. They're a really interesting Space Marine chapter, and they built upon a lot of lore that was pre-established, some of the stuff by Fantasy Flight Games and through other things as well. The Blood Angel Omnibus, obviously featuring Orlok and giving you an idea of the Blood Drinkers and stuff like that as well. And it's really built upon a lot of those stories and really made for an enjoyable read when I first read this book. If you want to pick this book up, I mean, who do I suggest this to? Well, obviously anyone who has a passion for Blood Drinkers, or even Nova Marines, or even like those Space Hulk, those sort of Space Marine dungeon crawl adventure is how I would sort of talk about a Space Hulk adventure. It was really fun exploring like a Space Hulk and seeing all these different parts and all these different things within a Space Hulk. They are just such interesting sort of things within 40k universe. And so if you like that sort of adventure mixed with obviously Space Marine combat and all that sort of stuff, and especially if you're a fan of Blood Drinkers or Nova Marines, or even like Blood Angels and Ultramarines, it gives you a good look at either side of them, and obviously being chapters of the successes of those two primary, you'll get a good kick out of learning about what your sons have done. I definitely recommend picking it up and giving it a read. It was a really fun, enjoyable story. You wouldn't be disappointed picking this up. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Guy Hayley did a fantastic job. I actually didn't realise that this was written by Guy Hayley. I enjoy so much of his stuff, whether that's the Prince Mesa stuff through Age of Sigmar, which is absolutely amazing, and there's other things as well. I guess I wasn't as focused on who actually wrote this back when I first read this. It was probably almost going on 10 years ago now. It was a really enjoyable story though. Definitely recommend. Go give it a check out. Like I said, I'll leave this in the description of the video so you can go pick up the ebook, which is now available. Well, that's the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also, drop us a comment in the video and let us know what you enjoyed about it as well. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fine community here at Sinful Gaming, you can do so by following the link in the description of the video to our Discord server. You can come chat with me and other members. Lastly, if you'd like to help support the channel in another way, you can do so either by joining Patreon or YouTube members linked in the video's description, or by getting some merch from Teespring, also linked in the video's description. We'd like to give a shout out to everyone who helps support the channel on Patreon and YouTube members, so a special shout out to our Patreons: Christian Weir, James Soren, Chaos Spawn, AJC, Kenny Lowell, Alder and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Cure Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Adina226, Anton Nielsen, JJ Austrian, and Average Wargamer. And a shout out to our YouTube members as well: Greenroots Gaming, Kenton Young, Steve T, The Real Zealot, Chris Wallace, Turai12, Vinny, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, and Wolfric Nick. Lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does the amazing artwork you see on the channel. Everything here is done by her. She does an amazing job, so thank you very much. And lastly, a special shout out to Xmorphic, who does all the background work on the Discord server, keeps it running smoothly, and makes it amazing because I am terrible with computers. So thank you, Xmorphic, as well. That's it for today though, folks. Stay safe everyone, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.